The GPS had been glitching for miles before it finally died. Ethan smacked the dashboard screen, but the pixelated map refused to refresh. Outside, the trees pressed closer, their skeletal branches scraping against the car's roof like bony fingers. "We should have stayed on the highway," he muttered, white-knuckling the steering wheel. Leah didn't answer. She was too busy watching the fuel gauge needle tremble just above empty. Her phone had lost signal 20 minutes ago, and now the only light came from their flickering headlights, cutting weak yellow paths through the thickening fog. That's when they saw the first sign, literally. A weather-beaten mile marker, its numbers scratched out, leaning crookedly in the ditch. They passed it once, then again 10 minutes later, then a third time, though Ethan swore he hadn't turned the car around. The smell hit next, copper rot, something old and wrong seeping through the vents. Leah gagged, rolling down her window, but the stench only grew stronger. Outside, the fog had turned reddish, swirling in unnatural patterns across the cracked asphalt. Then the headlights died. Darkness swallowed them whole. Ethan's frantic fingers found the flashlight, its beam stuttering to life, just in time to illuminate the figure standing 10 feet ahead. It was tall, too tall, 7 feet at least, its limbs elongated and jointed, all wrong knees bending backward, arms too thin, fingers twitching like spiders testing their webs. Its head lolled to one side at an impossible angle, the neck clearly broken, yet it moved with terrible purpose. In its face, Leah's scream died in her throat. The thing's mouth stretched ear to ear in a wet grin, rows of needle teeth glistening in the flashlight's glow. No eyes, just smooth, stretched skin where eyes should be. The impact threw Ethan against his door as the thing's claws raked across the windshield, sending a spiderweb of cracks through the glass. Leah's shriek pierced the night as those impossibly long fingers punched through the driver's side window, ceramic nails shattering as they closed around Ethan's throat. He barely had time to scream before he was yanked halfway out the window, his ribs cracking against the doorframe. Leah watched in frozen horror as her boyfriend's body convulsed, his face turning purple, his fingernails tearing grooves in the roof as the thing dragged him into the night. A wet crunch, a gurgling sigh, then silence. Something warm splattered across Leah's cheek. She didn't need to touch it to know what it was. She ran. Branches whipped her face, drawing blood. Roots grabbed at her ankles like skeletal hands. Behind her, the sounds wet tearing, the crunch of bone, and worst of all, the giggling. High-pitched and childlike, echoing from everywhere at once. Then light a cabin. Its windows glowed faintly, the only break in the endless forest. Salvation. Leah burst through the door and froze. The walls were a nightmare canvas of blood handprints smeared in desperate arcs, fingernail scratches trailing down to the floorboards. In the center of the room stood a single wooden chair. Ethan sat there. What was left of him. His face had been peeled back from the skull, the skin stretched and tacked to the chair behind him like some grotesque hood. His mouth was sewn into that same terrible grin, his eye sockets empty and weeping dark fluid. From the shadows behind her, something shifted. A whisper in a voice that was almost Ethan's. "You should have stayed on the highway." The abandoned car was discovered 3 days later by a highway patrol officer. The doors hung open, the interior drenched in brownish-red stains. Deep grooves, too small to be human nails, too precise to be animal claws, marked every surface. No bodies, no signs of a struggle beyond the blood. On the rearview mirror, written in flaking crimson, a single word: joined. 2 weeks later, another car pulled off the highway. Their GPS had rerouted them down this same forgotten road. As their headlights cut through the fog, something tall and wrong unfolded itself from the trees, its grin widening at the familiar scent of fresh fear. The cycle begins again.